Hi friends, this is Sandeep. I'm really happy that many of you liked my earlier presentation on birds, which is called flamboyance. In fact, I was wondering what to share next when I came across two festivals recently being celebrated in Singapore right now. And guess what? Both these festivals had close connection with animals. In this part of the world, we celebrate New Year around this time, which is called the Chinese New Year, and it is the biggest festival in Singapore. The Chinese New Year is based on the Chinese zodiac, which is basically a 12-year cycle, and each year represents an animal. This year, the animal is rabbit, and that's the reason you're seeing so many rabbits being decorated out there. While there are several stories as to how and why these animals were chosen to represent the Chinese zodiac sign, what is important to know that these animals played a very significant and useful role in the lives of the Jade Emperor or the monk or the common man, for the personality traits or behavior that they displayed. So it got me to thinking, what can we do? Particularly at the workplace, can we devise certain HR programs and practices which helps the cause? Million, billions, or even trillions. You can assign all these numbers to the animal industry. For example, there are about 50 billion chickens estimated to be slaughtered every year for food. Beside providing clothing, food, medicine, and fulfilling many other needs, thinking of animals today, they are responsible for many life-saving medicines and vaccines, and animal world is a big part of our researchers worldwide. They form a large part of the global economy, creating millions of employment, be it in the dairy industry, the wool industry, the leather and tanning industry, or the fishing industry, and so on. Nature is in crisis, and it is getting worse. In fact, 1 million species, including animals, are on the brink of extinction, and the situation is really alarming. Animals are integral to sustainable development, and it's important to protect them for our own survival. Of course, the way we treat them speaks so much about our own humanity and compassion. Most of us are either Gen X or Gen Y, but the Gen Z, that's very different from us, and we have to deal with them. While salary is the most important factor in deciding on a job, the Generation Z values salary less than every other generation, and the employers must highlight their efforts and demonstrate their commitment in tackling global issues such as sustainability, ecology, and environment, in which animals are a significant part. In one of the books I had co-authored earlier, called HR Strategies in Asia, almost 20 years back, I had predicted that the number of virtual employees are going to increase at the workplace. Well, in the post-pandemic world, we see the trend gaining momentum, with most of the employers looking at hybrid workplaces or remote working and so on. As we confine ourselves in the four walls of the room, away from our colleagues and friends, animals and pets can probably fill our basic needs for companionship. 85 million Americans, or say about 67% of American population, own some kind of pet. It seems 60% of Indians own some kind of pet. Of course, it's a country where many animals are worshipped, be it a cow or a snake or even a monkey. In Asia, the trend is picking up with about, let's say, 200 million pets in China in 2021. So it may be a smart move to consider animal-friendly programs and practices to help in the attraction and retention of talent. The phrase is such as lion-hearted men or eagle-eye vision or work like a bull. These shows how humans have regarded animals as a source of inspiration. They have been studied, quoted, and their behavior is being followed for a very long time. I would like to propose a new leadership model called Fauna as a tribute to the animal world. And basically it covers the qualities which are essential to be a great leader. Well, the leadership topic is huge and it probably requires a separate session, but I would like to briefly describe what it means to be a great fauna leader. Fauna stands for fearless, action-oriented, upstanding, nurturing, and aware. So a leader should be fearless and show courage, strength, and decisiveness, and most importantly, not be afraid to fail. He should be action-oriented, and the leader's action should be strategic, innovative, and futuristic, and must have a great vision and focus. Upstanding. A leader must be ethical and of high moral standards and fulfill his corporate social responsibility, encourage diversity, and confront all ethical dilemmas with conscience. Nurturing. Every person has great potential within them. A leader must train and coach their team members to grow and achieve greater heights. In fact, a great employee is often the result of a great work by a leader. As part of nurturing, a leader must also be empathetic. And finally, being aware. It's important for a leader to be self-aware as well as have awareness about his surroundings, which is basically being alert. Have you ever been scolded in school, college, or maybe even at work? You're worse than an animal. I mean, animals do have certain qualities which are great, particularly teamwork. Whether a pack of wolves working together to bring down a sizable kill or a flock of geese flying long distances in V formation are great examples of animal collaboration for a desired result. It is time we humans follow their behavior and work in team accordingly. In fact, we can name many teams in our organization based on animals and also conduct team games named after them. Would you believe me if I tell you that interaction with animals have been shown to lower cortisol, which is a stress-related hormone, and also lower blood pressure? Try holding a pet when you are mentally stressed or depressed and see its dramatic effects. In fact, pets can reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, ease loneliness, can encourage exercise and playfulness, and even improve your cardiovascular health. It may be a great idea to promote and encourage pet ownership in our offices to help employees remain mentally and physically strong. How would you feel if you get a Lion Award or a Lioness Award for being a great performer at work? Now, it's a great idea to name our reward and recognition programs after animals. It could be a Lion or Tiger Award for the best achiever, Eagle Awards for the high flyers, a Bunny Award for the best fresher, or even a Cool Cat Award. Many HR and management programs can be named after these animals. During normal days, we spend more time with our co-workers than our spouse. In fact, going out with our co-workers for a lunch was so much fun. How about those short pantry breaks in the office where we held those intimate discussions with a good colleague? Now, in this new post-pandemic world of remote working or hybrid working, we may be missing out on many of those opportunities. Studies have found that animals can reduce loneliness, increase feelings of social support, and boost our mood. In the post-pandemic world, animals can fill in a huge gap of companionship needed for those isolated employees. Animal-related HR interventions. Sounds a bit radical, but they may well be used for helping leaders to develop skills such as empathy, resilience, and adaptability. By closely watching the animal behaviors, we can then mold ourselves to emulate these wonderful creatures. One word of caution here. You will be in trouble if you ask your recruitment teams to go out and look for people born in certain years as per the Chinese zodiac to fit your ideal candidate profile. But what you can possibly do is to devise animal-friendly HR practices and programs that would strengthen your attraction and retention of talent. I called my daughter recently, who lives in New York and shares an apartment with another person. So I asked her, what are you cooking for dinner tonight? And she said, I'm cooking a vegan meal because my roommate is vegan. But during our time, we had heard of vegetarian and non-vegetarian. And now we have a new option, vegan. The food choices made by Generation Z, it reflects the generation's concerns about animal welfare. A study by food service firm Aramark found that 79% of members of the Generation Z would like to eat more meatless meal. Well, that apart, the current generation looks for companies that are ethical, moral, and maintain their responsibilities towards the ecosystem and support activities that encourage a healthy ecosystem. So we can have pet allowance, pet clubs in the office, meatless day in employer-sponsored canteens, animal activities, and so on. This would help us become an employer of choice. We have lived with animals for a very long time, and it's really hard to imagine our lives without them. But it's important to remember that we too are animals. So the better we understand the human-animal bond, we can use it to improve our own lives. Hope you like this presentation into the lives of animals and with whom we share such a magnificent world. And I hope it stimulates you to integrate them in our lives, in our working lives. And do share it with others, raise awareness and show our commitment to the animal world. By the way, is there any animal that is missing from the Chinese zodiac? Yes, this super cool cat is missing. So that's a long and interesting story which we can cover in another episode. But right now, you give me a Cool Cat award by subscribing this channel, by liking this post, sharing it with others, and I'll see you next time with another episode.